What's up guys, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll continue the reviews for Romancing Festival Mech banner, a special banner with 10% rates and 10 different robots. We're gonna start with Zeke. This Zeke has a better status when compared to the past one, has a focus on dexterity and agility, but it is a farmer instead of a support counter unit. As you can see, Endurance and we were not even that good, so we do have a little intelligence because of one skill. For the first passive, we have High Detox Tension that increases 20% damage and cleanses itself on the end of the turn. For Style Tree, will increase the action order by medium effect, allowing Zeke to go first most of the time, and buff Dexterity by 20%. Boost System will give Morale up and Guard up large, increasing both status by 35% for 3 turns on the start of a round, and also recovers 2 BP. As you can see, this design is pretty similar to Talon, a character that is actually pretty nice for farming. It's the same passive called Boost System. But there's just one problem. Zeke does not generate as much BP as Talon, so it will not be capable of using so many powerful attacks in a row. Well, for our skill we have Speed Up, a free fast support spell that also uses 2 LP that will grant evasion for 2 times with no turn limit. That means that 2 hits will be negated, and also any type of ailments. Will also buff the user agility by up to 40% when you max level this. Has to be manual. And well, this is actually better inherited in the first style because this one is a counter specialist. You can use Intercept System for 5 BP counter, and when you don't have enough BP, you will be using Speed Up just to protect yourself and be able to counter again. You can only use this 2 times, it's not that important, so it's more to give more utility to the first version of Zeke, because the current is a farmer, and we rely on skill number 2 and 3 for that. Skill number 2, Heat Kamikaze Crush. For 6 BP and 1 LP, you have a full AoE attack with blunt and heat damage that has B power 22 mod. Well, 22 mod is not that high and will hardly be capable of soloing stuff, but we have to remember that we have Socho. With Missile, I was capable of soloing many story stages, but Socho has 70% damage passives, 114 dexterity, that's pretty close to what you have with Zeke. Zeke has 35 plus 20, that means 55, but also buffs dexterity. He will actually reach close damage potential to Socho and even surpass it a little. So the same stages that could be farmed with Socho will also be able to be farmed with Zeke. And you can use this 3 times in a row because of the BP generation. You have 20 BP by turn 3. You will be using here 18. Then the last attack is called the Proton Rocket Plus. Row attack with triple S damage, blunt, and heat. Well, we saw this attack many times before. It has medium chance to inflict instant kill. Hence why Zeke has some intelligence. Not as high, but it's medium chance. If you have enemies aligned in a row that can be instant killed, he can use this, but so many other robots can. Because Proton Rocket costs 10 BP, you can use this on turn 1 and then again on turn 3. It's pretty useful for story farming, but for normal events, if you can solo one wave with Proton Rocket, you can use someone else to solo the other wave. Zeke will be a very good partner to Talon, especially if you didn't get Enya, because both have access to Proton Rocket Plus. It comes from a DS style of Talon, so Talon can clear a wave, Zeke can clear another, but Talon can also already do this by the use of Enya. Well, if you bring Enya, he becomes even stronger and will have enough BP to just use Proton Rocket plus 2 times in a row, because Talon has much better BP generation. He gets 4 BP per turn and already has another passive that gives him even more. So if you don't have Talon, now you have another character that can do very strong roll damage. Proton Rocket Plus is very strong, but it's still not as strong as Virgil. Beat Blast. From his musical style, you have a bigger hit damage here. It's usually overkill. Triple S will be enough to kill most waves. But Zeke is a little limited if you think that, well, you either do medium damage or you do big damage but cannot use the same attack again. As for inheritance, you can use the Kamikaze Crush attack and attack 3 times in a row with double S power. It's nothing special, but let's say you are on a story stage where there's only one enemy. I don't think he will be capable of soloing, but, well, if you have someone else that can also do steady damage, they will work well together. Barrage Program is not a very good inheritance. You can try to use Intercept System if the fight can be finished in 3 turns, because this Zeke has bigger damage. But I do prefer to keep using the first one because of Scrum Guard being so important to the remaining characters in the party. So Zeke is actually pretty straightforward. He has passives and skills designed for farming. And even then, it's not something very powerful that allows him to solo farm or to just make a big difference compared to what we are already using. By the limit of utility, this character will not work so much in boss fights or remembrance unless it's something that can be solved in 3 turns. Usually you don't have these scenarios, hence why Zeke will only receive an SS- grade in the tier list. The next character is Engineer Car, a physical tank with very big endurance and dexterity. Will is not that high and agility is kinda bad. So you'll be using it to defend against physical attacks, but there are some problems. First of all, the Toxinator and Heal on the end of a turn will cleanse all status elements and recover HP around 170 and 1 BP. So you get 4 BP per turn, cleanse and heal. The second passive, Focus Defiance 5. Damage against weak targets will increase by 30%. When taking resist damage, damage will be reduced by 30%. So you need to have at least 35 resistance to a certain element. Our Wall Defense 6 gives resistance to damage by 40%. So you have 40% at all times, and when you resist, you have another 30. Pretty resistant. So skill number 1 is called Grenade Guard. For 3 BP, you have a single target attack that deals blunt damage, Sim Power, and 17 mod. Not bad for the cost, and casts Guard Up Medium that will last for 2 turns, decreasing damage by 25%. Does not stack with other instances of Guard Up, so you may actually choose a different skill, like E-Boost, a 4 BP one that is support and fast, gives him defense boost and attack boost. Both will have 15% increase when you max level this up, and lasts for 4 turns. Well, you can actually use this many times to get plenty of defense boosts, since he gets 4 BP per turn. Now, the last skill is called All Range Fire. For 8 BP, you have a full AoE attack with C Power, Blunt, and Heat. It's not that strong, it's not used for damage anyway. And then will grant the user defense boost of large effect, decreasing damage taken by 35. But has a penalty, it will reduce the user agility by medium effect. Well, the agility is not that high, but there's one problem. All Range Fire is not a fast skill, but you can actually start the fight with this one because it will give a better defense boost, and then just keep using E-Boost to get more defense boost and stack them. You will be able to stack 4 stances of defense boost to receive extremely low damage. Even magical damage will be very low on this point. So, start with All Range Fire, stack E-Boost. This is his main gameplay. It's better to just keep using this than use Grenade Guard. So you will not be doing damage with Engineer Car. He will be placed on formations that increase the aggro of 1 slot, like Rising Phoenix X, because Engineer Car has a big problem. He cannot taunt. And it's very important when you have a tank to taunt. We just got our Crawl, and he has this attack called Bright Phoenix that taunts and applies defense boost. He's also very defensive. We have other characters like Mask, a very good style that can also taunt by inheritance of Great Adventure that taunts 3 times, and he can also heal the party when he gets to overdrive. So many characters can do better setups than just placing Engineer Car to not take much damage, because if the boss starts using AoE attacks, Engineer Car is not really helping, and because he does not increase the chance of being attacked, well, sometimes the boss will just choose someone else. In the case of Mask, he is very defensive and can also protect, so Engineer Car is very, very simple and does not help much the party. Inheritance don't make much sense. Rail Cannon can be inherited just to attack on overdrive when you don't have much BP because you're just using it all. All their attacks are not even that strong, so Engineer Car is pretty simple. It's a character made to tank physical and even magical damage, but just stays there like a rock without doing anything else. It's a very limited design and I don't like it too much. I will only be giving this an S grade. Engineer car can be used on Remembrance, but I don't see why would you be using him, because we have plenty of damage there. So even for Remembrance, he's not important. Easy to skip. The next character is Warmech, and we have a focus on dexterity and average status for everything else. Well, endurance and will are on 94, those are not bad values, and we have 84 for agility and intelligence. Pretty interesting. Well, for passives, we have the Toxinator Heal that cleanses from the end of a turn, recovers a little HP, something around 170s, and 1 BP. So you have 4 BP per turn. The second passive, called Calamity Program. Every 3 turns, you will recover a small amount of HP. That should be around 900. And it will also grant yourself Heat Up Medium. That increases damage for the whole fight by 10%. And also Defense Up Medium, reducing damage taken by 10%. You can stack those things 5 times in battle, but once every 3 turns means that you will only get to max potential by turn 15. And that's, well, a little too long, in my opinion. But to be honest, the first 3 stacks will happen by turn 9, and they are already good enough to keep him very resistant. But, well, you need to use him on very long fights. Then he gets Great Block Tension, that decreases damage taken by 25% and increases his damage by 30. So we only have 30 on start, reaching as much as 80%, and for defense we have 25 on start. Then after 3 turns you get 10% till you reach 25 plus 10, 10, 10, 10, and 10. 5 stacks of 10%. We reduce damage by a lot. Now, for skills we have Machine Tackle, a free skill that hits a row of enemies with deep power and 14 mod. Very impressive, but it has delay and it's direct, so can be countered and it's hard to combo with. The second one is called Power Beam. For 8 BP you have a row attack as well that also carries delay, but this time is blunt and heat as power and grant the user morale up before attacking. Morale up very large increases damage by 40%. That means that the attack final damage will be similar to double S power. It's critical against human and will also recover the user HP by around 900. So there are plenty of effects. You can actually use Power Beam, then Machine Tackle, and keep cycling the 2 skills, and you will be healing and eventually just receive very low damage. This robot was made to fight against the Death Master. Especially if you are a new player, he will help you a lot by just resisting. You can use a formation where he draws more enemy attacks and just receive low damage and self-heal. The last attack is called Terminator Laser. With 14 BP you get a full AoE attack with blunt and heat that is critical against human as well, and will have a medium chance to inflict instant kill. So you cannot use this on turn 1, only on turn 2. Inflicting instant kill will help in the future because there will be a Remembrance battle where you have to cast instant kill, but we have Proton Rocket, so it's not that unique anyway. But the skill itself can be good enough to solo some waves, but after that you don't have any AoE attacks, so it's a one and done thing. The good thing is that you can just use this skill easily, since delay is for the first turn. The second turn you will just use Terminator Laser. Place Warmech in the front line of Magia fight formation, for example, so it fixes a little of his low agility. So I still believe that Warmech is super limited. It focuses on doing delay attacks, roll attacks as well, so even if you consider this as a single target attack, it's not bad when you can recover HP. So Warmech is very similar to Engineer Card in a way that it was made to tank damage. But Warmech is better because he can self-heal, would not rely on someone else's healing when he needs. But he takes a little more damage. But he also does more damage than Engineer Card that would just keep using support skills most of the time. But Warmech is better by being capable of at least helping when farming, and I do believe it's a better design than Engineer Card, hence why I'll be giving it a SS- grade in the tier list. The next one is BJ&K. It's a gun user that can heal, so useful for remembrance, an upgrade over mailing, for example. 70% endurance and will means that it's gonna take some damage, but it does have 100% dexterity and 100% luck. So very big heals from BJ&K. For passives, we have Detox Armor. When attacked by an attack that will cause resist, damage will be reduced by 30%. If you bring Proof of 4 Tower, this will happen easily. And on the end of a turn, will cleanse itself from all status ailments. The second, Heal Enhance. When recovery actions are made, recovers the target in his own BP by 2. Will also buff his own and the target dexterity by 20%. So, we'll talk more about this later. The third one is High Protect Tension, so increases damage by 20%, reduces damage taken by 30%. Very nice, so even with low endurance and will, he will resist much better than Mei that has nothing to protect her. So the first skill is called Med Kit. For 0 BP but 1 LP, you will heal and cleanse one target. This is a gun skill and not a spell. That means it scales from the weapon power. That means that any generic gun will allow BJ&K to heal around 1.8 thousand on current game with no difficulty, but you still have to level this up to 99. This will trigger Heal and Enhance. So by healing, you will also give 2 BP to yourself and the target, and buff dexterity to yourself and the target by 20%. This is a very similar design to Ogridiana, that when she heals, she also heals herself and buffs both STR and agility. But I do believe that BJ&K is even better because 2 BP can help a lot someone that you are healing. Now, skill number 2 is called Laser Plus. For 3 BP, you have a B power attack with Blunt and Sun. This is just a cheap attack to use when you have nothing else to do. The third is called Satellite Laser. For 10 BP, you have a Triple S attack with Blunt and Sun damage that hits a column of enemies. The power is not as high as Proton Rocket, but it does have lower cost by 10, so you can use this for farming. I don't think that BJ&K will be able to solo most events because he only has 20% damage passives, but it can be used for farming. He will just not stand there without attacking to get status. Well, BJ&K is very straightforward. It will be healing most of the time, but when it's not, you will use Laser Plus or Satellite Laser when it gets to Overdrive to help out with damage. It's a very good upgrade over Mei Ling when you want to bring healers for remembrance, because she does not have damage reduction passive and has a terrible endurance. Look, this is the Platinum style. The limited one has a little better, but still very far. She doesn't have any damage reduction passive, she dies easily. The only competition that it's not really direct is Cindy, because I cleared Remembrance with just Cindy as my healer. She has a chance to heal on the start of a turn and another chance to heal on the end of a turn. And, well, you only need to clear Remembrance once, so I restarted till she healed enough and finished the stage. So, it's up to you. If you feel like you need a single target healer, BJ&K will actually help you a lot, but it's not something really important. Still, I really like the design, and BJ&K will receive a standard SS grade. Even though he was made for Remembrance, he will actually work in some instances to help Leonard survive, because when he heals, he also buffs, increasing the damage of the desired character. The next character is pzkwV, and it's a hybrid that can inflict ailments and debuff. We don't have very high defenses, only 68 endurance and 64 will, but there are damage reduction passives. Dexterity is 103%, just like intelligence. It's not made for damage, it's made to survive and apply stuff. Well, the first passive is called Detoxinator and Heal. On the end of a turn, you recover around 170 HP, 1 BP, and cleans itself from all ailments. That means you get 4 BP per turn. The next one, Solid Defense. On the start of a turn, you get a damage block that will negate 1 damage. And then also applies defense up medium for a max of 5 times. That will give him 10% damage reduction for the whole fight. 5 stacks of 10% is a lot. By turn 5, he's already on max potential. This passive is also found in the Global Axe Leonard. So very good for remembrance, not that much for other types of content. The last one, high protect tension, increases damage potential by 20%, reduces damage taken by 30%. So by the start of the fight you are already reducing damage, and then after 5 turns you get 5 stacks of 10%, reducing damage taken by plenty. And, well, you will always negate the first hit. It just won't die easily. For skills, the first one is called Magna Blast. For 1 VP, you have a deep power single target attack with 14 mod that deals only lightning damage and has a low chance to stun. Good things. Well, you can use this as much as you want. 103% intelligence will not be enough to stun most hard challenges, but we hardly need this. It's just for very specific challenges and also against Kazinsi in the future when we get more stages. The second skill is called Electric Strafe Cannon. For 6 VP, you have a full AoE attack with C power and lightning damage that carries 2 effects. The first, it has a low chance to stun and also a low chance to inflict paralyzes. Very nice that it carries 2 different effects. You don't use those 2 things together. You either stun or paralyze, but that means that you can use this for 2 different scenarios without having to change the skill. You get 4 BP per turn, you can at least use this 3 times in a row. That means that even if you fail, you can try again. And paralyze lasts for 4 turns. If you land paralyze, you can actually recover BP enough to just use that again. But for stun, it's not that reliable if you need to stun multiple enemies. Now, skill number 3 is called Graviton, an 8 BP single target attack that has delay, that's why it's powerful but has low cost, with triple S power, 59 mod, lightning and shadow. 59 mod is kind of on the start of the triple S calculations, but it's pretty hard to have lightning and shadow, something that you find in Maximus and Rock Bouquet, but not in much other characters. So if you want to bring pzkwV to fights, it's because you want to inflict ailments, and Graviton will be used on Overdrive. Well, if he had something else, a support like morale down, like, I don't know, heal, or even morale up, something to just help the party, it could be used, but he just becomes a remembrance bot to be used in some challenges, like in the future against new stages for Kazinsi and also for Real Queen. Or if you are a new player and you started not much time ago, you can use him right now for stage number 20 for those 2. But besides that, you will hardly ever use pzkwV if you get him. So he only takes an S grade by being extremely niche. Well, the last character is Leonard, and he is a sword user that has an S style on the event, and the highest status is STR with only 101%. He is a hybrid and suffers from that. You have average values for dexterity, agility and intelligence, and below average endurance and will for current game. For passives we have Detoxinator and Heal. On the end of a turn, you have 3 effects. You cleanse, you recover our HP by around 170 and also gets 1 BP. So essentially 4 BP per turn. Let's talk about the third. Great Block Tension decreases damage taken by 25%, increases damage potential by 30%. It's his only damage passive. Then the second is called Plural Counter System. When being directly attacked, you will counter with Plural Slash on rank 1. Well, this is actually interesting because it's a guarantee on global, it was not on GP. Plural Slash is originally a 6 PP skill that hits between 1 to 4 times with Slash, C power and 18 mod. If you do the math, well, if you hit once, it's not much damage. If you hit 2 times, it's like double S damage, already justifies the cost. If you hit 3 times, you get triple S damage, and if you hit 4 times, you get 4S damage. On average, you'll be hitting around 2.5 times per turn, and since you have 4 BP as generation, you can use this 2 times in 3 turn cycles. So, in most fights, it's nice when you use it manually, but here, Leonard wants to counterattack with Plural Slash. The damage will be lower because it's rank 1, but one interesting thing is that it's not random attacks. You will always counter the same enemy. This reminds me a little of Haniwa, that has a 7's word counter. You can see it here, 7's word, but attacks random enemies between 4 to 5 times and has a very low chance to trigger. So this is actually the evolution of this original idea, and Leonard is used more for only one boss, while people also use Human Male when there are many enemies, since he always counters as well, but with AoE C power attack. I guess that's a lot of utility with Leonard. If you bring him against a boss that attack multiple times in a turn, you can get plenty of damage. It would be nice if Leonard got BP by attacking, or even buff hit himself. It would be much better. You just have to be careful because Leonard has only 25% damage reduction, and his endurance and will are nothing stellar. But if he counters many times, the damage will be actually pretty good for a slash. He will compete with the second Global X Urpina for slash, and also with Sekisu Shai. If you have this character, you only need one of them, they kinda clash. Now, the first skill is called Whirl Blade. For 4 BP, you have a full AoE attack with slash and blunt, deep power and 10 mod. It has a chance to debuff intelligence by 15% on rank 99. Well, I kinda feel like this is a waste to have an AoE intelligence debuff, because he actually wants to be used against enemies that do physical. So it would be better if he debuffed agility or STR. much better. Unless there are multiple enemies, but if there are multiple enemies, you are better off bringing Urpina instead of Leonard. And the last skill is called Max Sonata, an 8 PP attack that hits all enemies with blunt damage this time, and has a low chance to stun. Well, 92% intelligence will be enough in some cases. Most times you have to bring buffers to increase intelligence, or debuffers to debuff will from the enemies, but it's very limited in utility in challenges. Can be used on War Tower if you are a new player, or on the Hidden Dojo if you are having difficulty there. We have a character that can also stun easily, that is Matcha. We can stun with rock stings and she buffs her intelligence, becomes much easier to stun. And we also have a fast stunner that is Shira. She has it by inheritance of Hymn of the Night Wind in the newest style. She can stun 2 times in a row. Or you can also stun easily with Princess Ray. She can do that by Cat's Play. She can use 2 times in a row, but it's not fast. In the case of Leonard, the benefit is to have it as a fast, but he can only use it on turn 1 and then again on turn 3. I don't think this is much useful. Now, for inheritance in his S style, you have Vacuum Slash Plus, a full AoE attack with 10 BP cost, slash and blunt damage, 8 power and 30 mod. It's actually strong enough for the cost, so a very nice inheritance. It's to be used against AoE, so I don't know if Leonard is the best AoE counter. Maybe for those that don't have Urpina or some other options, but it works, especially as a farmer as well. He can open with that attack and then keep using Whirl Blade. If you are a new player, you can get something out of this, but it's not how we farm anymore. The other skills are not important. Heaven on Earth has a chance to stun, but, well, only useful for Kazinsi, and there are now too many stunners. Well, Robot Leonard is a good style. He can counter well, especially against enemies that attack multiple times, but he does not taunt, so you need to use a formation that helps him get attacked. I don't think that he's much better than Yumameo, or if he's just a side grade, because Yumameo has taunt. Yumameo counters AoE, while he does not have taunt, counters single target with better damage. It's just different. But since Leonard has a different focus on single target, I don't think he beats Urpina on general, but can work for those that missed her. Still an easy style to skip. Now back to the banner image. Is this banner worth summoning for? Well, I will be giving it a silver award. I don't think any style is really worth a pity, but you have to come here with the right mind. We have double the chances, no off banners, you can do some pulls and be happy with what you get. This is the right way to come here. Thinking about getting something, but don't go as much as to pity unless you really like the characters or really feel like you're missing something that they offer. But that is my opinion. What is yours? Please see here on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. If you want to support the channel, there are links in the description. I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye.